What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another video. In today's video, we're going to be talking about some of the top prospects for the 2021 NFL Draft and how their pro day results may have affected their potential to be picked at number 7 by the Detroit Lions. So let's get it started.
I got to shout out DoseOfDion, man, because it was actually the first time I went live on YouTube. And, guys don't know DoseOfDion. He put out a lot of good content for the Detroit Lions.
Welcome everybody to a video. Glad you guys are here. And yes, we're taking a look at some pro day results in today's video. We've done a lot of film type of videos, things like that. And we're going to continue to do those up until the draft and take a look at some prospects that the Lions could target. But in this video, I specifically wanted to look at some of the top prospects in the nation and how their pro day results may affect where they're drafted this year and how that affects the Detroit Lions with the 7th pick in the NFL Draft. We'll also touch on a few prospects that the Lions could target if they traded back, but mainly this is about staying at number 7. And everybody's excited to see who the Lions take at number 7 because the door seems to be wide open for tons of different options. So today I thought we'd run through some of the pro day numbers. I'm not the biggest, pro day, that kind of stuff guy. I don't get too caught up in that. I try not to. I try to just, kind of more go off of what I see on the film, things like that. But I know it is a factor. Injuries definitely come to play. Plus, I think Brad Holmes will be looking at it for sure when it comes to 40 time, broad jump, vertical jump, 40-yard dash, all that kind of stuff. So today we're going to look at some of the results from some pro days, from some of the top prospects, talk about whether it helped or hurt them. Let's just get right into it. Let's start off with the receivers first for this year's draft because it's actually the most heavily mocked position to the Detroit Lions globally right now. I don't know if I should say globally, maybe in America. I don't know. Either way, it's the position that most people are mocking to go to the Detroit Lions is the receiver position. And actually the most mocked receiver as of now is Jalen Waddle. I don't know if were you guys expecting me to say that? Jalen Waddle. Now, that may change a little bit now that the big trade has gone down, but that's still the most mocked receiver to the Detroit Lions as of right now. So let's talk about how those top receivers did. Let's start off with Jalen Waddle. Why not? Well, Jalen Waddle did not participate at his pro day. So Jalen Waddle, no participation there. We know the injury that he's dealing with, that he dealt with in 2020. He had to miss a lot of time. He tried to come back for the national championship game, but he just did not look right. So he, ended up not really playing that much in that game, and he did not participate in this pro day because of that injury, which I guess makes sense. I think that's something that was kind of expected. We know he had a pretty legitimate injury that he was dealing with there. That could actually hurt his stock. We know that definitely could hurt his stock, push him down because teams could be afraid of that injury. I wouldn't say it's a big surprise that he didn't participate in the pro day, but again, that just shows that the injury is still there and still lingering, and he may not be 100% right now. Either way, regardless, Jalen Waddle is one of the most shifty receivers in this class. He's probably going to be a top pick somewhere, but obviously the injury he's still dealing with makes it so that we don't have results from his pro day. But that takes us to the other Bama receiver, and that is Devonte Smith, the reigning Heisman. Devonte Smith. Devonte Smith really didn't participate either at his pro day. He's dealing with a finger injury that he dealt with in the national championship. The reports are that his finger was purple. That's not good. His finger was purple. Okay, hey, be careful with that. But at one point at his pro day, he did decide that, he wanted to run some routes. And he called up Mac Jones like, hey, I want to run some routes just to do a couple things, just to get deep a little bit. And he did. He showed off some of that explosiveness in his game. But aside from that, we didn't get to see Devonte Smith. So, no 40 times, nothing like that. He did pass on weighing in the first time, but he ultimately did weigh in. He weighed in at 170 pounds. So definitely on the lighter side, but I can't say it's a big surprise there either. I mean, we kind of expected that. He's going to be one of the lighter receivers that we've seen as a top, pick in the NFL draft in a while. But I think a lot of people were kind of expecting that. That's one of his biggest knocks is the size. We know he dominated in college. We know how great he was, but we'll see. We will see how much that affects Devonte Smith when it comes to draft time. I wouldn't say it's a huge surprise, though, that, he didn't weigh in that heavily. I mean, that's kind of who he is. That's how he's built. He's just built very slim. I think it's good that he did go out and run some routes, but it does kind of stink that, he, because of the finger injury, that he was super limited. We didn't get to see much of him. So some people don't like it. Some people think it's good that he pushed through it. Let me know your thoughts on that. Do you think that's good or do you think it's bad for Devonte Smith's stock? And let's touch on this tight end / receiver. This tight end that can play receiver, Kyle Pitts, because Kyle Pitts' pro day was pretty electrifying. I got to say, pretty electrifying. And I think for him, it really helps him as a guy that, wants to be looked at and say, I can bounce out the receiver because we saw it a ton. Stop just labeling me as a tight end. I can do both. And when you look at Kyle Pitts, he measured in at 6'5", 245 pounds. That's a big dude, 245. But what's so impressive about that is weighing in at 245, 6'5", he ran a 4.44 40. Now, I knew he was fast. But I think a 4.44 40 is a little bit faster than what I would have projected. What the best thing about his pro day was, to me, is the wingspan. He measured it as at 83 and 3/8 inch wingspan. 83-inch wingspan. That is an inch, a little over an inch longer than Calvin Johnson because they compared it. He has longer arms than Calvin Johnson. We know about the wide radius. Now, he didn't have the 40 that Calvin did because Calvin borrowed some of his shoes and ran a ridiculous 40, but still showed off that he's very fast. But to me, it's mainly that wingspan that's going to help us. We'll say that Kyle Pitts solidified himself as a top 6, top 7 pick in this year's draft, depending on if you can fall to the Lions. But just with overall everything that he was able to do, his explosiveness. Again, I wish he had a little bit higher vertical, but with his size, I think the biggest thing that stuck on me was bench press being at 22. I thought that's pretty good for him because his blocking did improve last season a ton. You know, he wasn't the best at it. You're not getting the best blocker here, but it did improve. So he can do that as a tight end if you needed to, but you're mainly going to use him as a receiving weapon, that's for sure. But really, I mean, across the board, they're really strong numbers today in terms of, hey, wanting to prove that I can be a weapon on the outside as well, and just how versatile I am as a player. But finally, Jamar Chase, the receiver out of LSU, I think he really solidified some things for him in terms of he didn't mess up, you know, because there's no Jalen Waddle, there's no Devonte Smith really at all. They're not measuring in. So for him, he's looked at by most people as a top receiver, not including Kyle Pitts. So for him, he just couldn't slip up. You know, he wanted to just kind of cement himself as, hey, I can check all the boxes you want me to check. And I think he did that. All right, you look at him, he measured it at 6 foot 201, pretty much the exact same we expected by maybe like a pound heavier. But his 40 time was great. 4.38 40 time. Phenomenal 40 time, sub 4.4, really good there. They were comparing him to some of the other top receivers. Now people are bringing up that, you know, when he and Justin Jefferson were there, he was the number 1, Jefferson was 2, and look how good Jefferson was. There is some concerns out there saying that this is way off and this is unofficial. We know these are all unofficial, so keep that in mind as we go through. Some of these numbers are going to be off. But the normal consensus is that, yeah, it's a really good time for him, but he's still not a 4.38 time. Take it however you want to. The way I look at it, I didn't think Jamar Chase was a Waddle type of fast. I didn't look at him as necessarily just a straight up burner like a Perriman that we signed this offseason, but he does have top end speed. He does have top end speed to get over the top if you allow him to. So Jamar Chase is fast. He's fast. Maybe not super fast, but he's fast. I don't think the 40 time is what sold him. It just didn't sink him. It didn't hurt him. The fact that his floating run higher is better for him. But I think what really helped him is 41-inch vert, nuts. 11-foot broad jump, nuts. I wish we could have seen bench press because I think he's a very powerful receiver. Didn't participate in that, but I think the broad jump, just watching him run routes and catch the football, obviously the fact that the 40 numbers are floating up there, clearly he's not wearing pads, so, you know, that does affect it as well. But like I said, man, I mean, that's why these numbers are always going to be a little off. They're always going to be a little unofficial, and it's so tight that these numbers could easily fluctuate. Regardless, though, he wasn't slow. He was still fast. He showed off the other things that are precise. Vertical and broad jump. He ran a 7-second flat 3-cone drill game. I smacked this. Boom. Just really solid, really good hit on the pro day, I think, for Jamar Chase. And he's still looking like, to me, the top receiver in this class, not including Kyle Pitts. That's my opinion, but that's how I look at it. Let's continue with some other positions, all right? Let's talk about some other guys here. Let's talk about the offensive line. Let's talk about Penei Sewell. Penei Sewell put up some good things as well. Penei Sewell, offensive tackle to Oregon, looks like the best tackle in the draft by a lot of people. I think Slater may have a case here, but he's a top tackle in this draft class. We'll see, though. Some people are projecting him to go 5 Bengals, but if he doesn't, some people say Jets. If he doesn't, could this be a Lions pick? Could this be a Lions pick? The biggest thing for me here is the only really major concern I have about Sewell being a Lions pick is, number one, he didn't play right tackle in college. That's basically, I think he played it in high school, though. So can he transition and be a right tackle next level? And, you know, will that be the best spot for him? If it is, cool. You know, I'm down with it 100% if he fell. He measured it at 6'4", 331, so I think that's a really good size. That's like Jackson Carman size, but he also is so athletic, and that's what made him so entertaining when you watched him coming out of the draft, when you watch him in college, because his movement ability and special skills at the second level is what makes him exciting. You know, I don't think he's much of, you didn't see as many pure one-on-one opportunities as you would like to see with that Oregon offense. Broad jump is what really sold it. He had over a 9-foot broad jump, and according, you know, to the same people that do the relative athletic scores, out of 20,000 prospects that have weighed over 330 pounds, only 22 of those guys have had a broad jump of that long or further, and Penei Sewell is one of those guys. So I looked up trucks in shorts, trucks just like wearing shorts, and this is the video that we got. Yeah, so that guy's 330 pounds. 40 time came in at a 509, which he looked explosive, and he put up 30 bench press reps of 225. I think, man, it was all around just really good for him. Weighted good, showed he was strong, showed his athleticism, boom. Here's the biggest issue with Penei Sewell's entire pro day is the arm length. It's one of the biggest concerns with Rashawn Slater. Rashawn Slater measured in with 33-inch arm length. Penei Sewell was 33 1/4. almost the exact same there. So for when you look at a guy like Penei Sewell, that was one of the biggest knocks. But apparently the report is that the Bengals are not concerned about Penei Sewell's arm length. So that was like the biggest thing. Knocked it out of the park, but then you think about a 6'4" guy at his size and you see those arm length and you're like, oh no, wait a minute. We were knocking Rashawn Slater this entire time, but then he just had barely bigger. It's like, oh snap. Okay, that's something. That is something there. But then you look at Rashawn Slater, and I think Slater, again, aside from the arm length, had maybe one of the best out there. 33-inch arms. Honestly, I think the fact that Penei Sewell's arm length came in so short is actually a good thing for Rashawn Slater, because he's like, hey, look at this guy. Look at his arm length ain't much bigger, so what are y'all talking about? I think that's really good for Rashawn Slater. But in terms of athleticism, oh my gosh. Rashawn Slater's just so athletic as a tackle. He ran a 4.88 40, which is in the 97th percentile for his position. 7.48 3-cone drill. He just had the shorter arm length, but I think Rashawn Slater showed off the athleticism and left no doubts with the athleticism that he showed off there. So I think both tackles did really well, aside from the arm length. But I think the fact that Sewell had smaller arm length than projected is actually good for Slater, because we were expecting that with Slater, but with Sewell, it's like, wait a minute. So I think for Slater, that actually helps him. Slater shocked me is the 33 bench press reps. I would not have predicted Slater to have more bench press reps than Sewell. I know he's 2 years older, but no way. There's no way I would have thought that would have been the case. 33. Other guys, let's talk about a couple of other ones. Tevin Jenkins out of Oklahoma State. When I look at Tevin Jenkins, I knew this guy was a beast in terms of just a physical freak of nature. All right, he comes in at 6'6", 310, but the guy is just really strong. He's just really strong when you watch him play. And he had 36 bench press reps. I think that was the most. I think that's a lot. All right, Sewell had 30. He had 36. Dang. But I think the biggest thing for him was that he ran a 4.9 40. To me, his pass protection athleticism can get a little wanky at times. Okay. Vulgar slang. I didn't even know this was a real word. I'm getting demonetized. But to run a 4.9 40, I thought that was a really strong time for him. To me, I think that was his best thing that happened at the pro day for him. Of course, you know, the strength numbers showed as it shows on the film, but for him to run a 4.9 40, I thought was also extremely impressive. A guy looks like he'd be a right tackle next level, and if he fell the second round, he could be an option for the Detroit Lions with that top second round pick. So I thought that was really good for Tevin Jenkins that he put up that kind of a 40 time. Now we talk about the defensive side of the ball. Let's talk about linebacker Micah Parsons. Just want to stop in real quick to let you guys know that if you guys were ever interested in investing in our favorite sports teams like us as Detroit Lions fans, you guys should check out www.symbol.app. It's a way to basically invest in your favorite sports team and earn a payout when your team wins. So for us as Detroit Lions fans, now we can finally invest in something that we actually know. And with the draft coming up very soon, this is your opportunity to get involved. You guys can use promo code DOD for a $10 bonus deposit. Check it out. A lot heavier than I think it was projected. He came in at 6'3", about 245, which is a little bit bigger than some people were thinking here. He came in at 6'3", 245, and went out, ran a 4.3 940. All the off-the-field concerns are the big issues there with Micah Parsons. But with that, whoa, I mean, hey, he showed that he could fly. We know about the sideline speed. He showed it with that 40. He showed up big. He didn't show up like really light and lean. He showed up at 245. So I thought that was impressive. And he also, when asked about his position, he said he thinks he's the most versatile player in this draft class. You can play me inside, outside. I can pass rush. I can drop. I'm the most versatile player in this draft class. So I thought that was big for Parsons. Really, see, a lot of strong pro days, I think, that went down here. Jamin Collins also, I think, had a really strong pro day as well. With good size, like we thought he would. He didn't get any smaller. He's the same, 6'4", 259 guy. He ran a 4.67 40. Again, these are unofficial, so keep that in mind. I mean, it could have been quicker, it could have been slower, just like Chase's, just like everybody's could have. But it's not going to wow you, but it's still a solid 40 time. It's kind of what we thought, that he'd run somewhere in that range. But what he was doing on the field, going through drills, how explosive he looked, is what really set it apart. Titans general manager also got involved working through drills, and I thought that's really cool. So, yeah, hey, Titans might want to get him. They really wanted to get an up-close look at Jamin Collins. 19 bench press reps. Actually, I think that was a little low for him. I think that's one concern, is that he wasn't a big popper in college. He wasn't as much of a physical specimen as you would like, and the fact that his bench press reps were under 20 may have been slightly low, honestly. But in terms of athleticism, I think that was good. The power may have been a little bit of a knock there. Owusu Koromora had a very interesting pro day, as he measured in at 6'1", 221. Good size, actually a little bit bigger than maybe the thought was there. Maybe thought was be around 215, so 221 I think was good that he looked a little bit bigger. And we know he did not run a 40 time, which really stinks. He had a hamstring issue, so he didn't run a his 40 time. Really hate to see that. But honestly, when you see his speed on the field, it's probably better if there's any concern just to not even risk it. Just let people leave to their imagination how fast that 40 time could have been. The 3-cone number wasn't incredible at 6.81. It was good. You know, I think for his size, you expect him to be very, very quick with those. And then he didn't give you the 40, so he kind of left you a little hanging with the speed drills, but he showed really good explosiveness with the broad jump and vert jump. I think the best thing for him was actually in the drills. The fact that in drills, he lined up at the linebacker spot as a linebacker spot, which is normal, some cornerback drills as a coverage guy, and did some pass rushing drills as a defensive lineman to just show I can do everything. So instead of saying it, he went out and tried to show it. And I think that does show it when you go through all those different types of drills. You ran a good 3-cone drill time. You look fast on film. Just leave it there. Now, the hammy may concern some teams, but you did everything else. So maybe it won't. It's kind of weird that you just didn't do the 40, but I don't know. So for him, a little bit bigger, added some pounds a little bit. Let's talk about another guy that's trying to push through the first round. Jamin Davis, the Kentucky linebacker. We talked about him yesterday. He put up a strong pro day as well, and now there's consideration that he might be a first-round pick. Some people are saying, is he going to challenge Owusu and Micah? The guy ran a 4.41 40 time. He listed at 6'4", 3.234 like you talked about yesterday. And you have a 42-inch vertical, okay? You're showing off some explosion right there. That was impressive. 4.41 40. He had an unofficial 4.37 as well on his second attempt. So it clearly showed off his speed, which you can see on the film as well, the burst, the quickness that he has. And then he was top 15 in broad jump. I mean, all around, he just put up strong numbers. And, you know, even before this, he was already flying up board. So now this pushes him even higher. But the chatter now is that he could go round 1. So for him, that buzz is really good. That buzz should continue to help him out and continue to push his stock up. For us, with my mock draft falling in the 3rd round, it seems way less likely now, which I kind of anticipated. But we'll see. You never know. I mean, guys, somebody has to fall. Everybody can be a first-round pick. Either way, though, Jamin Davis, I think, again, he had a strong pro day. Did everything you wanted to, and now the buzz is out there that he could be a first-round pick. Some people have him ranked, like, one guy had him ranked at number 15 in his big board. So, yeah, Davis has been really just on the rise for a while now. For a couple of months, I think Davis has been just flying up boards for a lot of people there. To touch on the quarterback here, when you look at a guy like Justin Fields went out there. He had some misses, intermediate throws, corner throws, but what Fields did do well is he showed his off-balance ability. He showed his ability to throw on the run. He had a beautiful pass that was kind of off the spin, and he just chucked it into the back corner of the end zone. That one looked really clean. 6'2", 227. The thing I want to bring up with Justin Fields, though, is his 40 time. He was aiming for a 4.3 40. He was aiming somewhere in the 4.3s, and he stumbled when he ran his 40 time. He was in the 99th percentile for quarterbacks. Okay, last time we seen someone run that fast was Robert Griffin III, and he stumbled. I know they're not official, but dang, that's a fast 40 time. Fields, he showed off the arm talent, which we know is there, and he showed off a blazing speed, which I think is maybe faster than maybe many people projected. But for him, the concerns are more on the field, processing, holding onto the ball too long, things like that. Maybe less of how much talent is there. But we'll see. Either way, that 40 time can't hurt, right? It shouldn't. It shouldn't. Zach Wilson, we've all seen some of the crazy off-balance throws he was making. To me, he's the Jets pick at number 2. I just have a feeling that's where he's going. Trevor Lawrence, really no need to touch on that. And if you guys haven't seen Trey Lance, that one actually was done a while ago, but I think he goes to the Niners. I have a feeling that's where he goes. So we'll see. A tackle could fall to us. A receiver could be our pick. We could trade back, linebacker. But you can see there's some strong pro days out there. And I think really the biggest risers for me were probably Jamar Chase. I think he really did strong with it. I think Slater actually helped himself a lot. Sewell showed off how athletic and strong he still is, but the arm length, if no one's actually concerned about that, then I think that helps Slater a lot. You look at, linebacker, I think Owusu-Koramoah did a great thing with what, putting on a little weight, not running the 40, and then playing in all these different positions. I think that was a great idea, but we'll see if the 40 concerns anybody. Micah Parsons, he had a strong thing. It's all about the off the field with him. So, yeah, man, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun, but some strong pro days out there. We'll see how this affects those Bama receivers and if that hurts them at all. But Kyle Pitts, man, geez. What do you guys think? 500? 89? 7? Thank you for watching, and I'm out.